KC6. KC6 is the beginning introduction of geometry. In case you don't know, geometry is math with shapes. Okay. Personally, I didn't like geometry when I was in high school. I just didn't get it. Okay. So yeah, it might be something hard for some of you guys. It might be easy for some of you guys. Okay. I know it's kind of easy for some of you guys because it includes shapes, and a lot of you guys are visual learners. So maybe it will help, maybe it won't. I don't know. But whatever the point is, if you either get it or don't get it, make sure that you always practice. And that's one thing that I learned, that in order for you to get better at something, you need to practice it. All right. So, target B notes. We're starting straight with B. We're skipping A. And for target B, all we have to do is figure out the rigid motion to determine if the shapes are congruent. Okay. In case you don't know, congruent means, so let me highlight that. Congruent means that they are the same, and the sign that we use is this little symbol that we have here. It means that they're the same. Shapes are the same. Okay. And there's going to be rigid motions that we're going to use. Three of them. Okay. I'm not going to write them over here on the side. We're either going to use reflection, rotation, and translation. Okay. So we're only using three of them. Let me explain really fast what each of them mean. Reflection is like a mirror picture, mirror image. Okay, when you're looking yourself in the mirror, that's a reflection of yourself. So you're reflecting on the mirror, right? Okay, so same thing with a mirror image. And usually reflection uses a line of reflection. Okay. Then we have rotation. Rotation is when you rotate. Again, rotate means when you're going in a circle. Okay, just like the watch, the clock. Um, they're rotating. The little line for that tells you time is rotating through the whole time. Rotation. Okay, rotation is usually based on a point of rotation. We're focusing on a specific point of the shape to rotate. This point can also be outside of the shape, but usually the problem will tell you what kind of point are we using for rotation. And then we have translation. Translation is moving, just moving. You're either moving the image up and down, left and right, to the side. It doesn't matter. You're just moving. You're not changing anything about it. You're just moving it. Okay. It's when you move your cup to the other side. You just moved it. You didn't flip it. You didn't rotate it. Nothing. You just moved it. That's translation. Okay. So we're only going to be using three of them. Question number 1, it says describe the transformation that maps the pre-image to the image. Again, pre means the first image. So the first, and then the image means the second image. How do you know it's the second image? Well, you have the C, sorry, let's use anything, but you have A prime. Okay, this little prime tells you that that's the second image. So that will give you a hint on how to figure this out. All right, so it goes from blue to red. Um, again, I think this one is a reflection. Again, I can check that by doing my reflection of the line reflection, right? If I put the line in the middle, I notice that C will go to C, right? B will go to B prime, and A will transform all the way to A prime by doing reflection. So that's good. So this one is reflection. Okay. It cannot be translation. Translation would have moved the shape just to the right, but it wouldn't have flipped the A to A prime. Okay, so that's how I know it's reflection. And again, if you're struggling with this, remember you just grab a piece of paper, copy the problem, like trace a picture, and then draw a line in the middle, and then literally fold your paper with that line, and you're gonna see that it's a reflection. If you're struggling throughout the whole process for target B, again, I just trace the pictures on a piece of paper, either do reflection, rotation, or translation. You're going to start seeing what rigid motion we're using For B, we go from the blue shape to the red. And again, it looks like the shape is correct. Like it didn't move, rotate, or reflection. The corners are the same. Okay. P and Q are on top, right? S and R on the bottom. Okay. That means that this just moved. Okay. It just moved up. So this is translation. Okay. 2, name all possible rigid transformation. When you have all possible, it means that you can have more than one rigid transformation. Okay, if you notice for the images here, we have a reflection. Again, you can do the mirror image here. And you can also have a rotation based on the point on the middle. You'll notice that if you rotate, you're going to end up like this. So it could also be rotation. Once again, if you're struggling understanding or seeing this, grab a piece of paper, trace the pre-image, grab your pencil, put it in the middle of the paper, and then literally just rotate your paper, and you're going to see that you're going to have a rotation for this one. Okay, so try number 2, and if you want me to check it, send me a picture. Okay. Number 3, it says determine the value of y that maintains the congruence of the figures. So again, they're telling you they're congruent, they're the same. You need to solve for y. Well, where is y? Oh, I see y right here, 4y minus 7. This 4y is talking about QD, and it's talking about LE. If you notice, this is a reflection. That means that QD is the same thing as LE. And since they're congruent, they're equal to each other. So you need to set up the equation in order for you to solve for y. So it's going to be 4y minus 7 equals 21. You know that the line of Q and D is the same thing as the line L and E. That's where I got 21 from, and that's where I got 4y minus 7. To solve for y, I need to add 7 to both sides. 4y equals 28. You need to divide by 4, so y equals 7 for this one. Super easy, right? Okay, you're trying number 4 on your own, and again, if you want to try it and me check it, you can definitely do that by sending me a picture. Okay, so try 3B. And then question number 4, it says describe the path that will map the pre-image to the image using combination of at least 2 transformations. So you could do 2 transformations and justify whether or not the image and pre-image are congruent. So we have to explain if they're congruent or not and why. Alright, so the first one, again, it didn't tell you which one is the pre or image or the image, but you could do either or. You could go from pre to image or image to pre. It doesn't really matter. So let's just say that this is the first picture and this is the second picture. For these, well, are they going to be congruent? Are these two shapes the same? You'll notice that first image is smaller than the second one, so this is not congruent, because it changes in size. The word that we use for this is dilation. That's what it means when you're moving a shape by size. So you're making either smaller or bigger. Okay, and we didn't learn about dilation yet, but this dilation does not mean that the shapes are congruent. Yeah, they look like they have the same shape, however, they're not the same. One is smaller, one is bigger. Okay, so for B, we have to find if they're going to be congruent. It looks like they are congruent, so what 2 transformations can I use? Well, for this one, you actually have 2 right answers. Again, it all depends on how you want to see it. For this one, I can rotate. Okay, and if you rotate from picking a point wherever you want, you're going to be rotating and translating it. You're going to be moving it. You're rotating, but you're going to have to move it to match to the second one. Or you can do it from the first to the second. It doesn't matter. Okay. Or you could also do translation first and then reflection. You can move this image to the side over here, so it could be like this. Okay. And then do the reflection from that line. So you could also do that. And again, play with it. Copy the image on a piece of paper, start rotating it, and then translation, or start playing with it. And you're going to start seeing that your two rigid motions are going to be the rotate or translation, or translation and reflection. Depends on how you're going to see it. So those are my answers for 4B. Okay, and we are done with notes. Again, notes are just based on the rigid transformations. If you have questions, please ask.